I'm going to read about when Nora McGrath was looking for the pension. She had to fill in all the application forms. So this was one of the letters that she wrote, and on numerous occasions they were actually turned down. So this was her statement in her own words when she was applying for the pension. This is why she said she should deserve to get the pension. My home was used as a brigade headquarters, and guns, ammunition, important documents were often left in my possession and held safely at my house. My house was raided on numerous occasions, and when brigade officers had to escape, I took charge of bombs and quantities of documents left behind. An injustice has been done to me in the past, and I trust this injustice will be remedied. Hoping you will give my case the kind consideration it deserves, as I only ask for justice. Thanking you in anticipation, Nora McGrath.
Interview by Birdie Burke, who was a member of Cumann na mBan from 1917 to 1923. This is about the duties that Birdie performed when she was called out to the Burgery ambush, and the assistance and the guidance and help that she gave Commandant Keating, finding him badly wounded, taking him to safety and staying with him in his final hours. On the morning of the Burgery ambush, I found Commandant Keating badly wounded. I got a horse and car and shifted him about 18 miles up the hills. The soldiers started shooting and the boys from the hills fired down. I was in the line of fire, but I managed to get Commandant Keating to safety and stayed with him until he died.
My name is Niamh Quinlan. I am a grand niece of the Keatings in Cumra. My grandmother was Bridget Keating ní Quinlan. And this is an extract taken from my grandaunt Lena Keating's memoirs, retelling the events following the death of her brother Pat Keating at the Burgery on the 19th of March 1921. Pat was buried first in Culnan's plot in Newtown on the night that he died, and a week later he was reinterred in a freshly ploughed field in Comahan, where his remains would lie for 2 months. All of this was done to avoid the blackened hands capturing his body. This extract recalls Pat Keating's journey to his final resting place in Kilrossenty Cemetery. It was 2 months later when Pat's parents decided to remove Pat's body to Kilrossenty Cemetery. The final arrangements were made for midnight on a bright moonlit night in May. Marcella collected Lena from the Mercy Convent School in Dungarvan. Pat's father Willie, Thomas and Michael, accompanied by members of the old IRA, Mick Mansfield, George Lennon, Ned and Paddy Joe Power, and local volunteers took up his remains. They carried him across the Mahon River, through Crew Wood and onto the Crew Road, where Father Sheehy, Marcella, Bridget, Margaret, Lena, Pat's mother, Willie's wife, Mary and Tom Cunningham were waiting. Father Sheehy led the midnight funeral in his horse and trap, followed by the parents, brothers and sisters, relatives and friends, and comrades of the IRA flying column. When the funeral reached the cemetery in Kilrossenty, a grave was already prepared in a new plot, now the Republican plot, which was selected by the parents. Father Sheehy blessed the coffin and led the prayers for the dead. The grave was then covered over with gravel so that it could not be distinguished from the surrounding gravel paths. Finally, a volley of shots fired over Pat Keating's last resting place by members of the old IRA, including some of his colleagues. The family went back to Cumra that night, a little bit happier that Pat was safely home.
I'm Fiona Power, granddaughter of Hannah Imelda Cullinan, the youngest and wildest of the rebel sisters. The diary is of my grandmother's memories of being young in around the family home in Kilmacthomas and the shop in Kent's shop in Kilmacthomas. Another incident during a military raid on our home. Some of the boys had been in but got away. Some guns were to be hidden very quickly and not much time. We had a young cousin staying with us at the time, Kate Cullinan. She was only 5 years. We packed the guns under her and told her to scream and cry when she saw military coming. It worked and the guns were safe.
Orla O'Ryan Balmacarbery, representing my grandmother Mary Condon O'Ryan and her sister Bridget Condon. Bridget was arrested at her place of work in Clonmel on the 5th of March 1923. She was taken to Clonmel Prison, Kilmainham Jail and North Dublin Union, where she spent the bulk of her time. She did 9 days on hunger strike and she was released on the 7th of November 1923. Mary Condon O'Ryan was treasurer of the Balmacarbery branch. She was 8 months pregnant when her sister was arrested in March 23. She had her baby, and in July, a couple of months later, her husband, Captain Michael O'Ryan, was arrested and also thrown in jail in Clonmel and Kilkenny until December of that year. So 1923 was a very worrying year for my grandmother Mary at home with a newborn baby.
My name is Dervla Bale. Mary Cleary, 21 John Street, Waterford City, was my great-grandmother. So I live in Dublin. So my mother would have always told me this story when I was a child about the wallpaper being stripped off the house in John Street because my mother grew up in that house. Mary Cleary was the oldest Waterford woman to be awarded a military pension at the age of 81 for her role as an intelligence officer. My house was HQ for D Company and raided by the military on Easter Sunday 1921. I had important documents hidden on my person, and capture would have meant arrest of the whole brigade staff. Amongst same was a dispatch from Michael Collins and location of arms dump. No women being present, I kept same from capture during a 3-hour search. Even the wallpaper was stripped off the walls during this search by Captain Valentine and his soldiers.
In the sitting room upstairs, although half my furniture is not in this. Every room is like this, broken up small. Cheer up, Ma. I'll have a home again, please God, with my fondest love forever. Peg.